Hello guys, this is Miss Sarah. I'm back with my next lesson. So today we have something different. So let's just take a look. I know you guys might be thinking, what is she doing? Why is she writing all those words? Now here's the thing. I know you guys know how to comprehend, how to read those words, because that's your language, that's texting language, and that's what you guys use most of the time, right? I don't. You guys know I just hate texting. I can't do that. Every time I try texting, autocorrect makes it something different, so I just don't like it. But do you know how to read all of these? For sure, all of you guys gonna say yes. And you know what? The reason I put these up here, because today I'm going to teach you something that's something like this in math. I'll put something up there. It's something going to be in math notation, and I would be able to understand because I already know those things. But I'm going to teach you how to comprehend those kind of notations in math. So let's just get into this. So today we still have 9-4, and we are still talking about arithmetic series. Means we're going to be evaluating arithmetic series. And let's say normally what we see is we see arithmetic series like this. Like we have numbers, we can just figure out whatever we need, and then we just use some equation and we just solve for whatever we needed, right? We evaluate that series. But today I'm going to show you something different, right? And that thing is called sigma notation, and that's I would say that's kind of shortcut in math. It's called sigma notation. How would that look like? So there would be a big E like this, which is called sigma. Sigma is a Greek letter, and there would be a number down here, which would be I is equal to some number, and there would be number up there, something like that, and there would be an equation right by the sigma notation. So what is this all about? So let me just talk about every single component of this sigma notation. All right, so let's talk about the bottom number. I is equal to 1. What is that? So basically that's the lower limit of this series. When I say lower limit, I mean to say that's the term we are starting to add. So we are starting from the first term of this series, and we're going all the way to 14th term, which is the upper limit of this series. All right. So going from first term all the way to 14 terms. So technically, I'm adding 14 terms of this series. All right. So 14 terms in this series. What else? So it means you already have number of terms of this series, going from first term all the way to 14th term. So total, I'm adding 14 terms. Okay, what else? I have to have my first term and the last term. Let me show you something. So since my first term, this tells me the first number. If I hold on, I totally forgot about something here. So what is this expression in here? So basically that's just the explicit rule of this series. When I say explicit rule, basically that's the equation. Isn't it normally we use explicit rule to solve for every single term? So basically the reason this explicit rule looks different than normal one, why? Because this is the simplified form of explicit rule. So basically, we're going to be using this equation to solve for first and last term. So in order to solve for the first term, I would plug in the bottom number into this equation. So if I plug in 1 in this equation, and let's solve. So 2 times 1, 2 added to 2, this is 4. That would be my first term. Is it the same what I have up there? Yep, it is. That's what I have up here. So let's say in order to solve for the 14th term, I would plug in the top number here. So this would be 2, 14 for n, and 2. So 14 times 2 is 28. Added to 2, it's 30. Here you go. So my last term would be 30, which is, yep, it's already there. So basically, it's the same thing, but written different way. So what I need to do is I just have to figure out those components I needed for my sum equation. And once I have all the numbers, I'm just going to put everything into my sum equation. So sum equation, so I'm adding from here to here 14, so I have sum of 14 terms. Number of terms 14 divided by 2. My first term is 4, added to 30. If I simplify the whole thing, it would be 34 times it by 7, which is 34 times it by 7 is 238. There you go. So that's how we do it. Let me show you one more example. Let's say I have big sigma. The bottom number is 4. The top one is 21. And the equation is 3 and plus 1. I'm sorry, there's a phone call. Just a second. Sorry for the interruption here. Okay, so what I need to do is I have to, I'm sorry guys. Okay, so what I have to do is, first I need to find number of terms. How do we do that? So I'm going to take, this is my lower limit. When I say lower limit means I'm starting from that term itself. Normally we start from the first term, but this time we're not starting from the first term. We're starting from the 4th term of the series. So you're going from 4th term all the way to 21st term. So how many terms in total? How would you do that? So you're going from 4th term to 21st term. How would you find that? Okay, here's the shortcut. You can take the top number, which is 21, take away 4, which is 17, and don't forget to add 1. Why add 1? Because we're adding the 4th term itself. We are including 4th term itself. So total, I have 18 terms to add. That's one way to figure out number of terms. If not, there's another way. Think about this. So starting from 1st all the way to 21st term, you're not taking 1st term, you're not looking at the 2nd term, you're not looking at 3rd term either. So out of 21 terms, you're not including 3 terms. So how many terms you have left? 18 for sure, right? That's just another way to look at. Okay, already know number of terms, which is 18. Now, in order to find the first term, how do we do it? So plug in the bottom number here to solve for the first term. My 4th term going to be my first term this time. So if I plug in 4 here, so that would be 12 and add 1, it would be 13. So my A1 technically, which is my 4th term of this series, but for this equation, this is going to be my first term. All right, so 13, how would you find the last term, which is going to be 21st term? So I would plug 21 in here. So 21 times 3 and then add 1, so that would be 64. Now the last step is pretty much just use that sum equation. So this is sum of 18 terms. My bad, just a second. 18 terms. So sum equation n over 2 or 18 over 2. First term is 13, add to 64. If I combine and simplify, finally my answer would be 693. And yeah, this is pretty much all. So if you need help, you can just send me a comment. I'll answer that question, or you can just go back to any of the parts of this video and then play it again. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.